Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the first interview of our live series that we're kicking off at the IAB annual meeting here in Palm Springs. We have an exciting first guest to bring to you. Lisa Giacosa is the Chief Transformational Officer of the Spark Foundry agency within the Publicis network. Lisa, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So do you want to maybe just start off, tell the audience a little bit about who you are, what you do at the agency?
I am, I do a lot of different things. I run a bunch of clients, but I'm also the Chief Transformation Officer, which is really at the cutting edge of business transformation and AI, and looking at how we improve workflow, not only for ourselves, but also for clients, looking how we improve business outcomes as well. So really important there. And I've got a bit of an interesting background. I've been both client side as well as agency side over the course of the last 30 or so years.
Nice.
And I've always grown up in digital, love digital. And prior to this role, I was Chief Investment Officer. And prior to that one, I was running data, tech, analytics, and insights. So I'm
jumped around to a few different disciplines
I've
over your...
I've zigzagged a little bit, but I feel like I can pivot to many different directions and help clients solve their problems. So
I love it.
that helps.
So what is your main reason for being at IAB this year? Is this kind of an annual occasion for you?
Bizarrely, this is my first
No
ALM.
way, me too.
I've been part of the IAB for nearly 30 years.
Wow.
And it's our 30th birthday, right? I think I joined in like 1998 in London, I think.
That's crazy.
But this is the first ALM I've come to out in Palm Desert, and I'm speaking on a panel later on today, and I'm really excited about it. So.
Can you tease the panel at all? Can you tell us about what you're going to be talking about? What are some of the themes?
We will be talking about the pace of AI and how when the machine becomes part of the decision, where does the human fit, and what does that look like in terms of buying and selling and consumer engagement.
Nice. So some of the agentic questions that we heard this morning kind of kicked off. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's maybe touch base on that for a moment since we discussed it off camera. So we both saw a very compelling keynote this morning. Zach Cass, who is the lead go-to-market early marketer for OpenAI, kind of had a front row seat for all this stuff back in the day when it was called machine learning before it was being kind of, put in the hands of consumers. I thought it was really an exciting keynote. It was the first time that I put my phone down on my computer and listened to a full keynote in a long time, much on his urging. But would be curious if there were any huge takeaways that you kind of grabbed you.
You know what? I was gonna joke and say, he did set us up for. He was going to be very engaging because he made us all put our devices down or leave.
Yeah, that was a good magic trick.
Which was great. So good Jedi mind tricks there. Mm-hmm. But I will say he was a very compelling keynote. I loved what he talked about in terms of the pace of change, and I think we all know that the pace of change is getting faster and faster. What was fascinating to me is that we have been talking about the $100 million problem of let's get AI out there and make it work for everybody, our clients, our businesses, our personal lives. But there's always that question of, but it really does cost quite a lot to set up. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was fascinating when he said, in the last, I think it was 5 years, that the cost per token has gone down from $60 to 50 cents.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Super quickly as well. Mm-hmm. So that was really exciting. I find that fascinating because cost, hopefully will...
Well, generally cost also means energy. So that means ultimately we're saving
better for the planet
trees,
too.
not just money, right?
Yeah, better for the planet as well. So that's all good. That makes me feel very, very good about things. I also think that, some of the things he said about how the way the internet was built, the internet as we knew it when it first
was built. The library versus the shopping mall analogy.
Yes, absolutely. And the fact that, we've kind of Frankensteined it together based on it was built for this purpose by the scientists and the data librarians, and then it's evolved to this shopping mall, but now it's going to be a lot more experiential or very basic in terms of agentic, being able to read a TXT file or a different type of file. But he did say it's going to go on two parallel paths, right? Which I think is really, really important for marketers when you think about how the experience wins. And I think you see that happen a lot now in real life, whether that be in a shopping mall or even some of the banks, right? You can go and have a coffee in a bank now.
Yeah.
Or have an experience.
It's almost like the human element becomes more important than ever.
And you think about some of the stores you go to. There are stores that you go to that they are a pleasure go to, like a a Macy's
or they're kind of community centers in a way. Like you go there to enjoy a passion and kind of have that tactile moment because you are passionate about a particular subject matter. You're not just going there to find something you need.
Yeah, and having that experience, whether that be a shopping experience with, fashion, or whether that be, meeting a creator or an influencer that's like driving that fashion, or something as simple as going to the Genius Bar in an Apple store, right?
Yep.
And having that engagement. That's really fascinating because we have seen a massive shift in that people don't necessarily shop in the shop anymore. They might go and experience in the shop and then get it delivered to their home. I just did that. I just bought 2 coats last week and they're both going back.
That's funny.
But the reality is that you get a feel for it and then you decide later, right? So it's really interesting. That kind of like disintermediated consumer is super interesting from what he was saying. I think it gives us some food for thought in terms of it's taking us on the same path. We're taking our brands and our clients in terms of experiences, everything, and it has to work with the performance side of life, but also there is that rational side of things as well that needs to happen in terms of solving the consumer problem.
I really liked he also gave kind of I think a bright note on the storytelling aspect of that we need to be optimists in our storytelling moving forward because I think everybody's scared no matter what profession you're in, no matter where you sit in the totem pole. Everybody has some anxiety around the idea that AI is going to disrupt you in some way, whether it's an AI bubble that's going to disrupt your 401k, whether it's AI disrupting entry-level jobs and your kids maybe can't find work, or even, senior people getting let go. So much tectonic change in our industry over the last year. So I think the idea of optimistic storytelling of how this is going to be a boon for society and not a net negative was a prescient note to storytellers. I would be curious on your thoughts on that.
That was one of my favorite parts, and I know it was the end part, but for me, when he said about being the optimist, but also when he talked about the democratization, I hadn't thought about this as much before, where he said, we've always been in a situation as humans that we've had to learn the technology. Now the technology is going to learn us. And that unlocks for society and consumers and kids that are learning and people like me that will be like, I think he said 2035, this is when it's going to really unlock. I'll be nearing my 401k age at that point. Hopefully I'll still be working. But that democratization of AI unlocking the ability to not do that call for your parents where you have to say, read the screen and click this button, because the AI agents will actually be helping people to have a natural language-based conversation for all things. And so it won't be, you have to be a techie in order to get it. So I thought that was really, really nice as well in terms of that optimism. And, we have enough bad news stories out there all day long.
We don't need technology to be also painting doom and gloom,
great,
right?
Yeah.
I love that. So talking about an agentic future from the perspective of a large advertising agency holding company, especially from the media agency side, do you think we're at a place where there are truly agentic solutions in the media buying industry where you can go to an AI and say, hey, optimize this campaign or set up this campaign or pull this audience or pull this report? Are you seeing the promise of an agentic future actually materialize in the media buying world yet?
The art of the possible is there, and we do at Publicis have some amazing tools and platforms that have been built already. But
is Marcel on top of the Epsilon platform?
Yes. Okay. So if you think about where Publicis has been, we started out a number of years ago acquiring some perfect ingredients to set ourselves up for the AI future. So yes, Epsilon, now Lotame, Retargetly, all of that data. So 91% of all internet users are visible and their transactions to our data set. So that's super exciting. Then you layer on the top of that, the retail media focus we've had and the creator focus and that starts to build a very nice set of ingredients that are going to go into the mix. And we've already got some tools that we can use to ask the right questions, to build the briefs, to think about the plans. Now, I will say we still hold the pen, and you still need a human engagement right now. as of where we stand right
can
now.
kind of do 95% of the heavy lifting, but then you still need a strategist to attach the dots together and figure out.
And there's an art and a science. There is, as David Cohen said this morning as well, we are a relationship-based industry. So that part is not going to completely go away. And humans are humans. I always talk about the fact that there's no such thing as post-emotionalization. We have post-rationalization because we make emotional decisions. We are emotive humans, emotive beings. And so when we make some of the purchasing decisions we do, they're not always because we've done a calculated, risk assessment on what we're going to buy. Sometimes
we're still very primordial. A lot of people don't realize how much your reptilian brain still actually functions in your buying decisions. It's very cerebral. Sometimes you don't understand why you're buying things.
If you think about it, how many people now, I used to say how many people have bought something on Instagram. Now I'll say how many people have bought directly from a creator that they didn't know about a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
And the reality is that that's about emotional engagement. It's about building brands. It's about trust. And so there's still a lot there that needs that human intersection as well, because it's an art and a science. It's not as simple as just buy this audience, put this creative here. You have to think about the mindset. You have to think about the emotional connection with the brand. Otherwise, everything will just be, private label.
Sameness. Yeah. I also love that comment that he made where he literally named 4 brands that are like things that actually have to be branded in his refrigerator, and everything else is groceries. I would be curious to go through that list myself to be like, what are the things that I absolutely demand to be a certain brand, and what else do I just not care as long as it shows up to my doorstep?
Yeah, I will say I know some of those brands for me. I know what they would be, and they're non-negotiables.
Yeah.
And one of them is a very irrational one. It's La Mer, because I love that cream.
My wife loves that one too.
It's not a brand that I represent. So but it works. It works, and it feels nice. So I'm going to keep doing it.
I love it. So I know you and I are going to sit down and do a long-form episode at some point. I know I've been working with your people on that. We may see each other at South by Southwest as well. But for now, if the audience would like to connect, learn more about you, see what you're up to, where would you like to send them?
Please look me up on LinkedIn, my favorite platform, and I will be happy to connect with you.
Beautiful. Thanks for sitting down with us for a little bit today.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Take care.
See you, everybody.